I think for me, it's always reinforcing that link that the culture you want to preserve is of course 100% attached to the language.
Yeah.
Um, and when it's just like it is with Welsh, when it is so integral to the place where we live, how can we not promote it?
Yeah. It's the idea of what's unique to the country. Now, everyone has various traditions, but really, I mean, like I say this often, you know, what I say is the only thing, and maybe people pick one or two other things like flora and fauna, but really the only thing that's native to New Zealand or unique to New Zealand is the Māori culture. And so to have a government, I mean, imagine if you went to Paris, right? And all the street signs were in English or something. You know, part of the immersion is in the culture of the day. And yes, our cultural identity is not 100% Māori because we are not 100% Māori. But as I've always said, for me, I personally feel like even though I have no bloodline to the Māori culture, I feel like because I'm of New Zealand, I'm a New Zealander, the New Zealand story is part of my story. Innately, that means the Māori story is a part of my story. And I just think all this piss-assing around with government department names and English first and that kind of stuff, and it's just racist. I mean, look, I don't say that word very much, but it's steeped in racism. And I know I'm saying, imagine what they do in Ireland. Imagine we know what they're going to say. I knew that I'd never spoken to those guys in Wales before, but I knew that they were going to say cross-party support. The left and the right, everyone supports it. Everyone wants to see it grow. It's real funny how the white majority countries don't want to speak that brown language, but if the indigenous language is also white, the white majority countries want to speak that white language. It's just, I can't see it any other way. I really can't.
I mean, you mentioned Paris. You try and tell a French person that their language isn't that important, they'll gut you in the street. You know, the French know they're so rabid in protecting their language because it is the essence of their entire culture. And the flip side of that being that France is a colonial power, it was also absolutely vital to their colonies as well. So we keep on circling back to the same thing, that as much as these guys say, hey, look, it's just a silly little language and we don't need to worry about it. Language is so important. It is so integral to everything that you're trying to do. And I think a fear of pushing the boat out on this sort of stuff here is purely a colonial hang-up.
Yeah.
And it is a racist hang-up.
Yep.
And it is, you could say it's whether it is just pure innocent ignorance or whether it's more weaponized than that. Like, my head is not going to explode if we have bilingual signs. And you'll get all sorts of people, you know, when it's road signs, that you see the concern trolling, don't you? You're like, oh, what if people have an accident because they're too busy trying to read the trail and don't see the English because it's not at the top. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It just does not happen.
Vicky says something, I hadn't heard about this. Here's another one then. Geez, today I saw that they're doing away with New Zealand Sign Language press conferences in Parliament soon. So in other words, we have 3 official languages. In fact, some people say English is not an official language, but we speak about 3 official languages: English, Māori, and New Zealand Sign Language. And they're pushing aside Māori. And if this is accurate, and I don't question it, they're pushing away sign language. It's like, okay, so you can't be more blatant. Just please the colonizing language, just English, please, nothing else. It's just so blatant. It's just, I don't know. It's just, and it's just pitching to that, MAGA, make Aotearoa great again. But they'd never say Aotearoa, would they?
I have seen people tie themselves in knots over that because they so desperately want to use MAGA. But then they have to cave to get. It's not Aotearoa, it's New Zealand. It's so funny.
It's just
I laugh every time it happens.